know weak minds, they can stay soft. You can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss, just my life and free thoughts.
Cody, the MLB postseason is in full swing. We really kind of missed the wild card as we recorded 1 week and now this week. The wild card pretty much, I don't know, there was a couple of surprises for me, and I'll ask you about it. I figured San Diego was going to win because the Mets were tanking before that series started, and it's just like you kind of have to come in hot. I didn't think the Padres were hot, but I thought the Mets were just cold. Yeah. I really thought the Mariners were going to beat the Blue Jays because the Blue Jays had been hit and miss so much in the regular season, and they kind of were starting to go. But the Guardians, and shout out to Clark from the Backseat podcast, he's been on them for a long time, and I completely agreed with him. And I didn't think the Rays stood a chance. I was kind of surprised that the Rays ended up winning or getting in. I thought they were kind of just, it kind of felt like it was just like we had to put in another team, so it was the Rays type thing. Almost like I feel bad for saying that, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. I didn't think they were that great this year. And I know they had a winning record, but, anyway, I'm not going to go into it. But the one surprising one was the Phillies over the Cardinals. I thought after game one, I was like, look, this Cardinals team is an experienced team. This is a team that has a good starting rotation, has a decent bullpen. They got some veteran guys on the squad that knows how to, come up clutch. And I thought the Cardinals were really going to win the next 2 games after that. And they ended up losing to Philly again. And I was really surprised. And now Philadelphia is on a 2-1 lead over the Braves, which I didn't even think was going to be possible. I thought the Braves were definitely going to mop the floor with the Phillies, but it's a series, man. And so it's very interesting to see what's going on. Cody, kind of what are your thoughts on the whole postseason so far first?
I think there's a ton of good storylines to it. I think the Guardians being one is a pretty nice one, considering that they were a team that's really young, that, if they can pull it all together, they could be a dangerous team that runs deep. And here we are in October and they're playing. Another team being the Seattle Mariners, I think. They're just catching lightning in a bottle. And unfortunately, they're going against a tough Astros team. So, they're going to try to find some momentum because they're down 2-0 right now, but they are heading to Seattle, so that might help a little bit. Some surprises for me initially right now. I agree with the Phillies because I actually am high on the Braves, and the Braves need to steal one from Philadelphia right now because I think they're going to Philadelphia tomorrow, and the series could be over really quickly for the defending champions.
They were in Philly today.
I think Saturday says that they're playing in there now, or they'll play there tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they play 2-2, and then whoever has the
game,
higher.
This is the game to steal it then. And then I'm actually initially surprised that the Dodgers are falling 2-1 right now to the Padres. Not that I have anything against the Padres. I agree with you. I thought that the Mets were doing Met things and just kind of unfolding before our eyes as they were in the wild card series. I felt like that the Dodgers, though, their lineup would be able to compete against, the bullpen of the Padres. And I give the credit to the Padres. Their starting lineup has been really good. Yu Darvish had a pretty good game. I think tonight was Blake Snell. He looked like Blake Snell of old, which is really surprising because he's been kind of hit and miss. Kershaw did Kershaw things when he pitched. So, Dodgers are kind of where they're at because of that. And I was really hoping to see that the Dodgers lineups could compete with those pitchers. And we're seeing right now that the pitchers are kind of winning that battle. And the Padres offense has finally come alive. It's all starting to come together this late in the season, which is what they're looking for. Just don't know if it'll be able to last whenever they go against either the Phillies or the Phillies or the Braves. But initially right now, it's a lot of fun baseball, a lot of interesting storylines that are going on, which I find very compelling. And, I think we will see a World Series with some first-time teams in there, and I think that's pretty exciting for baseball, considering what's going to be coming next season with the whole rule changes. And now that baseball's getting a little bit younger, maybe it'll stir up a little bit more of a younger audience. So,
yeah, let's get into it because the question that we proposed here was, who do we believe is going into the World Series? So I'm going to still speak from what I felt like was going to happen already, but I'm going to kind of go series by series a little bit. I'm just going to go quick here. I felt like Houston's going to win in Seattle. I do think Seattle might steal one just because, Seattle is a team, especially when you're going to play in Seattle, and they haven't seen playoff baseball since 2001. It's going to be electric. It's going to be hard to beat Seattle in Seattle with that type of crowd. It's just going to be really hard. So I feel like Seattle is going to steal one, but I do feel like Houston will probably get one in Seattle as well and finish this off. So I do feel like Houston has this one in the bag pretty much in that series. And then going to the other AL game, which is the Guardians and the Yankees. Look, the Yankees look flat. They look flat, straight out.
They look uninterested, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, the starting pitching hasn't been fantastic. The bullpen is what I was a little worried about with the Yankees, and I think my worries were valid now. And then also, I thought the lineup was the only thing that was kind of the saving grace for the Yankees, really, or the starting pitching a little bit. Aaron Judge going 0 for 8. Listen, I don't think he's going to be like that for long. I think he's going to snap out of it because I think he understands. Listen, it's not in the postseason. It's not about the home runs. It's about just getting on base, creating offense for your team, being that teammate, whether if there's runners on base. And I think also, too, the Yankees need to stop with Aaron Judge hitting one. You can't have him hitting one. He should not be hitting one. I understand if he's hitting 2. I'd rather see him 3 or 4 because then you're creating RBI opportunities and you're getting him to think, okay, I don't need a home run here. I just need to get this guy home. And I think it literally does. When you're playing ball, you're hitting 1, you're just like, okay, I need to get on base. Whereas with Aaron Judge, now he's being told you need to hit a home run. Where if he's at 3 or 4, it's like, okay, I just need to drive in this run no matter what. Yeah, I could hit a home run, but I'd rather just get the runner in because this is postseason ball. I can't strike out here. So I think his mindset would change. So I think him dropping in the lineup would actually benefit him. And he probably wouldn't be so burnt out because it kind of seems like he's a little burnt out, to be perfectly honest right now. And then the Braves and Phillies. I'm going to stick with the Braves on this one. I think the Braves are still the better team. I think their bullpen is better. I think their starting rotation is their weak point. And it's kind of been showing up recently against the, Castellanos, Bryce Harper. And here's the thing. This is what I wanted to say. Bryce Harper has elevated his game. He has actually played a lot better than what I've seen. He's been a way better teammate than he was in Washington, and I don't think he's getting enough credit for that. So I wanted to say that because I really think that Bryce Harper is actually playing better baseball overall because he's doing it with his glove. He's getting on base. He's not trying to just jack home runs constantly. He's trying to create offense like what we were talking about with Aaron Judge. He's trying to create offense for his team, and that's what he's been doing. And then he's leaving it up to Nick Castellanos to focus on the power. Castellanos is doing a great job of it. So the Braves, on the other hand, Acuna needs to step up. Matt Olson had a really good game 1, but he hasn't really been much of a factor recently. Austin Riley has had really good defensive stops, but his offense really needs to get going as well. So there's a lot of the guys that they've relied on all year that aren't really doing anything. So the Braves are really going to have to step up, and they need to do it quick because they're down 2-1. And then the Padres and Dodgers. I'm still going to pick the Dodgers. I know they're bad. I know they're down, but if there's any team that I would bet are going to score runs in the next game, it would be the Dodgers. I think their lineup is really ridiculous. I think they're trying to focus on. Here's the thing that if I'm a Dodger fan, I'm frustrated with because obviously Dave Roberts is trying to be too cute. He had Cody Bellinger out of the lineup because they're going against Blake Snell. Now, Cody Bellinger is not Cody Bellinger of 2019. But at the same time, Cody Bellinger has been a proven guy in postseason play. He is a guy that, for some reason, all of a sudden steps up. Now, he hasn't had a great series so far. He hasn't been great, but he is a great defender. And I feel like you don't want to lose that defense in the outfield. And also, he is a guy that you still have to worry about. You can't groove a fastball down the pipe because he is absolutely going to crank that. So you have to be aware of that. So I do think that the Dodgers need to just be like, listen, what's been our best lineup? Let's use that lineup. And I guarantee you Bellinger is going to be a part of that. It'll be interesting to see how they do against, I believe Joe Musgrove is pitching this next game here. So that'll be really interesting. But overall, I had the Braves and the Guardians going, or I'm sorry, I had the Braves and Astros go. No, yeah, I had the Astros going. I think this lineup is tough. This Astros lineup is really tough.
Mm-hmm.
Alvarez, Altuve still, Bregman, Tucker, who I actually saw from the Backseat podcast. They tweeted out like Kyle Tucker is like one of the most underrated ball players, and I 100% agree. We watched him when he was actually here in Fresno, playing for the AAA team at the time. And he was, I kept saying, I always said it to my wife. I was like, I don't understand why this guy is not on the Astros team. This guy is such a good ball player. He's so underrated. And then when he got called up, I remember in fantasy baseball, I was like, I'm scooping him up. I know he's good. And he has been very good. And he has been really, he's a big-time power hitter. He's not one of those guys who's going to hit, 300. But he's a guy who's hitting 250 and 250 guy who's hitting 30 home runs a year. You're going to take that all day. And right now he's having a really good series as well. So this Astros team is good. And not only are they good, they have a really unique pitching staff. Like their rotation, their bullpen, it's sick. It is sick the way they mix everything up. They have Christian Javier who could come out of the bullpen at any time, or he can start. It's amazing. I'm just in awe of this team. I still like the Braves. I think their bullpen is what's going to take them over. I think we're seeing the weaknesses of the Dodgers, missing Walker Buehler and all that. So to me, I have the Braves and the Astros, but I'm really, really rooting for the Guardians. And I kind of like to see the Phillies go. I would really like to see that, but.
I think for me, if I had an AL representative, I would say, in my opinion, it is between the Guardians and Astros. I would side with the Astros, though. I do think that majority of that team still has a lot of the veteran leadership. This is kind of ironic, too, because not very long ago, they were in that cheating scandal, of stealing signs. And here they are, on the cusp of getting into the conference championship. So I think the Astros are a dangerous team. My only concern with them is with Justin Verlander being their ace. And not that I have any issue with him. I just think he's now pitching in October. And again, we're a season, he just missed one season from Tommy John, and he's looking absolutely like a Cy Young Award winner. But we're getting late into the season. So how much left does he have left in the tank, I think, is the biggest question. And I wouldn't want one of those bad starts to be during a crucial time, say, game 5 or 7 of the NLCS or the World Series, because he's due for a bad outing, even though he's been good all season. Baseball's a long season, 162 games. Now you add in another 20 something games in the postseason if it goes that long. So I do think that the Astros, though, will prevail, and I do think it'll be the Astros and the Guardians. I have no faith in the Yankees. I think that they are exactly what you said. Their starting lineup is not very good. Bullpen is probably the only thing that is decent, but it's not consistent as well. Aaron Judge looks completely like he's done with New York. New York looks like they're ready to go home. They don't really have that hunger anymore. It seems like after Aaron Judge hit 62, they all said, okay, we're good for the season, regardless of what postseason outcomes were. They just don't have any more life. And I think the Guardians, being that young team, I think they're ready to move up into the upper echelon of the majors. But I do think the Astros will be the AL representative. And I was rooting for the Braves. I'm rooting for the Braves on the inside, but some part of me, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up anyone's ass about this, but I do think that, I hate to say it, I think the Padres are going to end up there. I think that they're going to just get hot at the right time. And, the Dodgers have an uphill battle right now. They're still in San Diego. They've got to steal one because Padres have already stole one in LA. I think the Dodgers will do so, but I do agree with you, Drew. They are missing their ace, Walker Buehler, like that tone setter. They don't really have that right now. I don't know how much they can rely on Kershaw, just because he's proven, even in the game that he pitched not too long ago, giving up 3 kind of early runs, and it put them behind pretty quickly.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's going to be their downfall, is that they need that ace. They really do need Walker Buehler to kind of set the tone and be an offensive team. And I think Mookie Betts needs to step up a little bit. He's only hitting, I think he's only hitting 125 right now, and he has a couple of strikeouts, some crucial ones. So he's got to really step it up. And I agree, Dave Roberts needs to get out of his way and just play his lineup. But I think in the NL, I would say that the Padres will represent the NL